'82 episode in the making, and today I would want to share with you one of the key things that I have been dreaming about. I mean, I've never been so excited about getting this, and it has really changed the way I look at things itself. So I was actually really excited about getting this book, and in fact, I went to the extent that I got the audio book as well as the physical book, and not the Kindle book, right? The physical book. And the book I'm talking about is this Ultra Learning, right? Accelerate your career, master hard skill, and outsmart the competition by Scott Young, right? And so this is the book that I was reading the reviews, and I was looking up, doing my research and all that. And this was one of the book that I thought would be the answer, and that book that could potentially save many of our careers, especially in this post COVID-19 situation. So, what am I talking about here, and what's the deal with this book itself? By the way, if you are looking at this book and you are from North America and you are wondering how come the cover is a little different from the one that you get, it's because in outside of the US, the book cover it's different. Um, well, other than that, the book is the same, right? And so, given a little bit of a background to this book itself, basically, this book covers a series of principles, and I'm a sucker for principle because I think many a times people can teach you the tactics, the strategies, but what we really need are the principles behind these tactics and strategies. You see, because these strategies could change from one context to another, right? The strategy could change because you are looking at applying it in one industry versus another industry, for instance, or it could be the strategies would change if you are implementing this thing in today's context versus 20 years ago. What am I saying here is the following. For instance, every time a new social media platform comes out, people always have this analysis, crazy analysis about what this platform is all about and all that. And the truth be told, it's that all social media has only one thing in common. What they have is they want to be able to earn your attention and to keep you captivated by that social media platform itself, the content that is in that platform, to keep you captivated and keep you addicted to that entire process itself that you just wouldn't want to quit. So, for example, if you look at TikTok as a social media platform, you could get lost on TikTok. Before you know it, you are down like 20 minutes, 30 minutes into it. And I had the opportunity to do that last week because I was preparing for the training that's coming up tomorrow on teaching a group of people from the banking industry, people from government services, and people from retail, how they are looking at using TikTok as a platform to earn the attention of their audience, right? And so I had the opportunity to do the research itself, and mind you, I was partly captivated by the content in the platform, particularly because some of them were really interesting. And on the other hand, it's so addictive that it kind of led me to lose my time in that process itself. And so if you take a step back and you look at all this social media platform, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, at the end of the day, what they want is to be able to capture your attention and to hold your attention in as much as possible within that platform itself, right? And so the strategies could change, but the principles are the same. And the principle is that we want to be able to get people hooked onto that platform as much as possible. So when I saw this book and I saw the principles, it just kind of led me to it. It's something that resonated with me. And the books have a total of 9 principles. Principle number one, so I mean, this book is all about learning, right? So principle number one is about meta learning. Principle number two is about focus. Principle number three is about directedness. Principle four, drill. Principle five, retrieval. Principle six, feedback. Principle seven, retention. Principle eight, intuition. And principle number nine, experimentation. Now, why is this so fascinating to me? Is because this book talks about how we are able to learn not just simple topics, not just simple subjects, but how we are able to learn even complex topics. Like, for example, the author was sharing how he learned computer science from MIT all by himself within a month, I believe. I mean, I just barely scratching the surface of this book itself, but I'm so excited. I want to share with you the reason why I'm so excited about this. So it's pretty matter, right? So the reason why I'm so excited about this book is because of this. So he is sharing that there is a process that we go through, and if we go through this process itself, applying all these principles, we will be able to learn something and to be a master of it within a short period of time. And that is looking at learning something that could otherwise be very complex. In other words, people could spend 3 or 4 years in university learning the topic itself, whereas you are potentially could be able to acquire all that knowledge and 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 within a shorter period of time. So that's the main thing. Now, why is that fascinating to me? Is because here's the thing: we live in a, whether you like it or not, we live in an ultra VUCA world, right? In case you do not know what VUCA is, VUCA stands for volatility, uncertain, complexity, and ambiguity, right? So we live in an ultra VUCA world. Now, an ultra VUCA world means that many of the things that we once believed to be true are now no longer true, right? So many of the things that we believe, how business should operate, how people would interact with each other, those things that we used to believe to be true, they are no longer true. or the way that it's being executed has to change. And so if we do not change the way that we execute our strategy itself, what's going to happen is we're going to fall back behind, right? And so the only way that we are able to not thrive yet, right? The only way that we can survive this whole situation itself is that we have to do things differently. Now, if we have to do things differently, and when I say differently, it's not just I used to do training in a face-to-face context, but now I'm doing training via Zoom. I'm not just talking about that, because that is, you know, taking what you used to do from one medium and using another medium to deliver the content, right? And that is just an adaptation of how you do things, but in a different medium itself. And that we've seen that happens many times in the history of the world in the last couple of years. Because in the past, if you need to send a message to someone, right, and you do not want to send it, you do not want to call the person, you want to send it to the person, you want to make sure that there is documentary proof that you have actually sent it to that person. At least during my time when I was the CEO of the early stage.com, during that time itself, if you want to do that, the way to deliver that message was via fax, right? So for those of you who are like, what the fuck is fax, right? Then obviously you're too young for this. But those days, the way to do that was to do it via fax. And I recall when I first started my consulting practice itself, the first piece of equipment that I got was not a computer. The first piece of equipment that I got was actually a fax machine. Can you beat that? Right? These days, I do not even know if people still use fax at all. I mean, God forbid, people would ask me, could you fax that to me? Right? What do we use it? What do we do these days? If we need to send someone a message, these days we use email, we use WhatsApp, we use Telegram, we use all this different messaging platform to deliver the message. So, and in the law of court, right? In court itself, the WhatsApp messages can actually be used as evidence to substantiate the case. So, whereas in the past you can use email, in the past you could use faxes, right? But now you can actually use WhatsApp messages as a proof of your case. So, when we talked about doing things differently, it's not just talking about, instead of conducting your course in a face-to-face context, now you're conducting your course in a Zoom or via Zoom, right? That is just one level. But when we've talked about doing things differently, it's talking about that fundamental shift in the way that we do things. For example, the fundamental shift of, in the past, people would be only accepting cash when it comes to retail. And these days, people would be only accepting contactless payment method. And if you or your country doesn't have the infrastructure or the ability to accept that, you're going to be left out, because people are not going to carry cash, and people are going to be opposed to using cash as a mode of transaction. And so the fundamental question here is that, it's at some point in time, I mean, it may be unthinkable right now, but at some point in time, the question could be, is cash even necessary? I mean, for me, I have not went to the ATM to withdraw money for a long time, because everything I want to do, it's either via my credit card or my prepaid card. And that's the way that I have been able to transact. And I love that way of transaction, because not only that, In the past, when I used to pay with cash, it's just cash, right? I mean, there is no benefit from it at all. But right now, because I'm paying via a different platform, like in my case here, I love Grab Pay. Every merchant I go to, I will ask them, do you accept Grab Pay? And the reason why I do that is because when I pay with that Grab card, I'm able to earn the points from Grab. And on top of that, I get double dipping as well. What I mean by that is that I use my credit card to top up my Grab card. And so from the credit card itself, I earn points. And from that points itself, I could then redeem it for other things. In my case, the credit card actually gives me a rebate every quarter, and the rebate is pretty substantial. And so every quarter, I get a rebate from my credit card, which is like free money. And then over and above that, when I use the Grab card, I get plenty of points. And with those points itself, I could use it to either offset my payment, or I could use it to redeem certain gifts or certain vouchers, for example. And so if I were to transact via cash itself, I would have lost out on those benefits, right? And so when we talked about change, we're not just talking about the first level, we're talking about something that's fundamental, something that you this is something that you used to do and you do not do it anymore. You do it in a different way altogether. And of course, the third level is you may come into a situation, you and I may come to a situation whereby some of these industries that we never thought that was going to happen now is existing, right? So as an example, right now, for instance, I have been asked, because of my live streaming for the last 81 days itself, I've been asked by a very, very niche market, because right now we're still in the negotiation stage. So I'm not at liberty to disclose more than what I can. But I'm in discussion with this very, very niche industry to provide live streaming services. And that industry itself has always been seen as a traditional industry. And right now, even the most traditional of people and most traditional of industry has now decided to embrace live streaming. And so in the past, you would never think in a million years that this is going to be a possibility or this may even exist. And now it has sprung a new industry by itself. Like so, an example, it's like Airbnb, for instance. In the past, 10 years ago, if you were to tell me that I will be staying in a stranger's house when I'm traveling, I'll probably tell you that you're crazy, right? But right now, that's the thing we do. I mean, of course, COVID-19 and all, but so we have at three level. One is you are switching from one medium to another. At the second level, it's really changing the way that we fundamentally conduct our business, the way that we interact with people. And at the third level, at the deepest level, it's where new ways and new industries is going to sprung up that we previously did not even know about them. And so, in order for us to be able to not just at least survive, we need to know how to do it differently. So, at the first level, if you can't deliver your training from face to face to Zoom, then you are as good as dead, because there I do not know when that's going to resume. And if people are going to question the very fact that why is it that I need to send my people to a specific location and interact with other people to attend a course, right? And so if you were still stuck in that mindset of training can only be done in a face-to-face context, then obviously you're not gonna you are going to be eliminated, right? And so that at the very least, you must be able to embrace this new medium, and via this new medium itself to deliver what you used to do. So that's the bare minimum. If you can at least do that, you would at least be able to survive in the immediate term. Now, at a second level, when we talked about things that are going to be fundamentally different, that means you go from cash to cashless, right? I mean, these days, for instance, instead of waiting in line for my coffee, what I will do is I will actually use the app and place an order prior to me visiting the store. In fact, that's what I did today. I saw the queue and I was like, no way I'm going to stand in line for the next 20 minutes. And so I knew that I was going to have to run some other errands. And so I ordered my drink, and later on when I'm done with my errand, all I need to do is just go pick it up. And so it saves me the time. It saves me the time of having to stand in line. It saves me the time of having to wait and not use that time for other purposes. And so that it's going to be the fundamental way that things are going to be different. And if you are not able to learn how to adapt and transform your business to that level itself, then you are not going to be in business for very long. But in order to do that, you need a new set of skills. You need a new mindset, a new set of skills, and new knowledge itself. And this is where ultra learning comes into the picture, because the faster we can learn and apply and experiment with what we've learned, because right now is the best time, because everyone is as clueless as you, right? Everyone talks about the new normal, but no one knows what the new normal is. And so, as long as we are able to learn fast enough, and to be able to implement it fast enough, faster than the competition, we have a fighting chance of not just surviving, but thriving, right? And so that is one skill. Ultra learning, it's one skill that I am prepared to dive in. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit to reading this book and then sharing with you, like a book club sort of thing. And so if you want to, you can actually get a copy of this book. I'm going to start this week, midweek onwards. I'm going to start reading this, and I'm going to write down. I mean, I've already started on it. I'm going to start taking notes and applying it right away. And so if you want to join me, get a copy of this, whether it's the hard copy or it's the Kindle version, whatever the case may be, whatever floats your boat, right? Get a copy and read alongside me. All right. So that's the thing. Now, some of you might be asking, what about the third type of change, the change that will enable us to create new industry, create a new way of doing things, to create something that you have never seen before 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And now now is the time for us to look into that. Now, with that, ultra learning isn't the skill set, right? For that itself, you need a different skill set. And that skill set is something that I will be talking about in subsequent videos, subsequent episodes itself. And so if you want to know what a skill set is, make sure you stay tuned, make sure you subscribe, hit a thumbs up, because I think it is going to benefit you as it's going to benefit me. And so I hope this has been helpful to you. And let me know what you think. Have you read the book Ultra Learning? If you have, share it with me. Tell me how it is for you. You like it or don't like it? Share with me, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you if you got questions. And Scott Young, if by any chance you are watching this, I just want to say thank you very much for writing this book. And I want to take that opportunity to be able to reach out to you after I'm done with this book itself to speak with you and to invite you on the Melvin Live Show. All right, my friends, today is Sunday, and today it's a very, very special day for me because number one, today it's the 50th anniversary of my church. And what made it even more significant was that my mom was baptized today. Praise the Lord. And with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.